Hey guys, Kid Ryan here to show you my Naturia deck. And I know it's one of those decks that I never really thought that I'd be able to profile on the channel really ever. And I saw this new support that came out, Camellia and Mole Cricket and all these new cards, and oh my god, it is the best support Naturias have gotten since Naturia Beast, basically. These cards are fantastic. In particular, Camellia and Mole Cricket, they just turn the deck into something completely different, and I feel that it's at least going to be at rogue status, Naturias. I really do believe that. This deck can steal games. This deck's very good with opening turns and making efficient turn one fields. I really love it. So, and like, you guys got to understand, I've been playing this game pretty much my entire life. Naturias are like a top 5 all-time favorite deck of mine, and to see it get actually decent support just brings a smile to my face. So this is going to be a more in-depth deck profile. I really hope you enjoy it, and let's get into it. So you started off, you got a Vernalizer Engine. So you got 3 Seedings and Haze, 3 Hills and Blooms, and the 1 Forest of Awakening. So you play these guys essentially search themselves, and all the meanwhile you have this guy, which is the Foolish Burial effect. And so what you do is you pitch any of these guys and another monster in your hand, and you either add, or in this case, you Foolish Burial, Earth Fairy, or Vernalizer Fairy, or with this card, the Foolish Burial, you send any Earth monster. And so these two essentially just search themselves, like I said, and what they do is that you'll send something with this, and then maybe later on you can Monster Reborn it with one of these two. And so those are good. They help get your Naturias to the board without having to commit your normal summons. These are all super important, actually. And then 3 Lone Fire Blossom, excellent card. You guys know what it does. And then on to the Naturia support. You got 3 Camellia. This is where it all starts. So real quick, if it's normal or special, you send a Naturia from your deck to the graveyard. If you tribute a monster to activate a Naturia monster's effect, you can send the top 2 cards of your deck to the graveyard instead. And if your opponent normal or special summons a monster, you can special summon 1 Naturia from your graveyard. So this card really does everything. I mean, it has 3 different effects. It's a tuner. I mean, it's a plant. It works well with Sacred Tree. There's just so much that it does. It has so much synergy with the deck. It is absolutely fantastic. I saw this card and my jaw hit the floor. So the same goes for Mole Cricket. Your goal is essentially to have Camellia and Mole Cricket on the field most of the time. So Mole Cricket, real quick, during the main phase, it's a quick effect. You tribute the card and special a Naturia from the deck, or if your opponent controls a monster with the highest attack on the field, you can special summon 2 monsters instead. And if your opponent special summons a monster from the extra deck, or you special summon a Naturia from the extra deck, while this card's in the graveyard, you special summon it. So it's excellent. It's a Lone Fire Blossom that continues to bring itself back. It's great to synchro with. What you do is you'll go Camellia, Mole Cricket, synchro with those 2 into Naturia Beast, and then Mole Cricket brings itself back. And in between that combo that I just mentioned, oftentimes you have a 3rd Naturia in play, so you can keep the plays going from there. And remember that it's a quick effect, so you can use it during either player's main phase, Mole Cricket. So you can bring out anything that you need to adapt to any of the situations that your opponent may throw at you. So I love that this is a quick effect because it just made the deck so much more versatile. So 3 Mole Cricket, 100%. So then these are all specific spots, these next 5, and I'm going to go over these again in depth because I feel like they need to be. So you have Horn Needle, Sunflower, Stinkbug, Antjaw, and Ladybug. These are all very important. So with Horn Needle, it's pretty self-explanatory. When your opponent special summons a monster, you can tribute a Naturia monster, except the card, to destroy the special summon monster. And so when you have Camellia in play, you can just mill the top 2 cards, and so you can actually keep popping special summon monsters and maybe just drain your opponent out of resources on their turn right there. And then you have Sunflower, so sort of the same thing. It's a Divine Wrath effect, and so you can use it a couple different times and continue wearing out your opponent's effects and making them go minus and all that fun stuff. And if they have to play around a Naturia Beast, they only have a certain amount of monster effects they can probably use, and so Sunflower can kind of clean up whatever's left. Stinkbug, believe it or not, really strong. This will work especially whenever your opponent has, if you have Naturia Beast, your opponent has a monster bigger than it, you can go Stinkbug and then tribute it, and then end the battle phase if you need to just buy that 1 turn. And then, let's say next turn you bring out Stinkbug, boost it to 3200, and all of a sudden it can attack over something. It's a Swift Scarecrow that's searchable, and I actually really like it. Believe it or not, I would play this card. You got Antjaw. Believe it or not, this might be the best one of the bunch. Antjaw, I look at this card like a Max C almost. When your opponent special summons a monster or monsters, you can special summon 1 level 3 or lower Naturia from the deck. you notice it doesn't say once per turn. So you can bring out any of your Naturias except Camellia, obviously, and Horn Needle, but that's fine. You can bring out any of your little guys. And so every time your opponent special summons, you're going to special summon back. This card single-handedly can keep you afloat sometimes. There are times where your opponent, like let's say you have Ant Jaw and, I don't know, bear with me here, a Moon Mirror Shield, like a really weak opening field. Sometimes like your opponent needs to overextend to get around that, and then Ant Jaw single-handedly will bring out 2-3 other Naturias. And then on top of that, you get Mole Cricket. Guess what Mole Cricket does? It's a main phase quick effect that you can special any other Naturia from the deck. This deck's a lot of snowball effect, I find, and Antjaw just helps with that. I look at this card like a Max C, so believe it or not, I have to say, please play this card. It's very important. And then last but not least, you got Naturia Ladybug. Seems like a terrible card, I know. I kind of agreed at first as well, but then I tried it, and wow, is this card good. So when you synchro a Naturia monster, you can special summon it again from the graveyard. And so what you can do is synchro with Camellia and Ladybug. Remember, Camellia is the tuner, and you can make Naturia Beast. And then if you have Mole Cricket in the graveyard, both Mole Cricket and Ladybug will trigger. You can special summon both of them, and you can also chain block the Mole Cricket by going Chain Link to Ladybug. So all of these 5 are super important. Wouldn't change those at all, and they just add so much versatility to the deck. So then you got 3 Ash, just standard, generic. So that's it for monsters. Onto the spells. You got triple Spring Breeze. You use it as a monster reborn virtually every single time that you use it. It's really good though. Such a good extender. Wouldn't play any less than 3. You got 1 Moon Mirror Shield. Seems like an odd spot, but when you have Naturia Beast, Moon Mirror Shield, and then let's say a Strike, that is so hard for a lot of decks to answer. So you never play more than 1. Just 1 Moon Mirror Shield. You got Call by the Grave. Just excellent card, staple, more or less. So 5 spells. I know it's like, well, you play Landoys, why wouldn't you play more spells? That's just the way the deck comes out, I suppose. Yeah, Landoys is good if you're able to set that situation up, and remember that you can search Spring Breeze whenever you want. So if you want to make a Landoys play, you can do it by manually tutoring the Spring Breeze, so that way you don't have to play these spell cards that can be more suboptimal in a deck like this. Onto the traps, you got triple Goes and Match. Really good card, doesn't hurt you pretty much at all. You got triple Solemn Judgment, triple Strike, 6 Solemns, plus Goes and Match. Very good control engine, and it's just very hard for a lot of decks to get past by itself. And so then you figure, even if it's something simple like Naturia Beast Goes and Match, that can stop a significant amount of decks by itself. And then double Sacred Tree. I know it seems like you should play 3. I was playing 3 for a while. Trust me, just play 2. It's really good. You tutor out with Camellia, and you go from there. We can just go through the extract real quick. I've never made either of these guys once, but they're there just in case with Spring Breeze. You got Bren LaFleur, very good. Do not cut this card. Naturia Leah Drake, you could honestly cut this card. I'm not really sure. I've never made it once. This guy, he's okay. I made him like once. Crystal Wing, very good. Scrap Dragon, never made. Landoys, like I said, very good. You'll make it every now and again. Barkion, make sure you play this card, especially if you're going against like Trap Tricks or, I don't know, Eldritch. Like, take your pick. You just got to make sure that you have this card as a utility. Triple Naturia Beast, seems like you wouldn't play 3, but it has come up before. It's kind of like playing 3 Winda and shit-alls. So, kind of, sort of. So then, Access Code Talker, Alsa, and Appaloosa. You know, just take your pick, really. Like, the links are not very important at all. I never make them. Onto the side deck, you got double Gamasio, because can't be targeted or destroyed by card effects is very hard for this deck to answer sometimes. Like if it's like a 4,000 beater, oof, that's difficult. So Gamasio's good. Triple Droplet, along the same lines. I mean, negates monster effects, you know what it does. Double Raigeki, staple. Double Prohibition, this card's just... I find myself using it in some of my more rogue decks, but it is a good card. And I mean, especially against decks like, let's say, Sky Striker, where they rely more or less on one card, this card can actually really be the difference. Or, I mean, like, if your opponent is going to side something against you that you know that you're going to have issues with, you can just prohibit that card and then throw Beast and Barkion or something in play, and that's pretty tough to answer, too. So, Prohibition is better in these kind of decks where you have multiple negates. Got double Cosmic Cyclone, staple. You got Feather Duster, good card, and then triple Evenly, which, you know, just break apart first turn fields. You know, if you go break apart a first turn field, make them go -2 or -3, and then drop a Naturia Beast or something, it's very hard for them to answer. So, All very marginal though. So that's about it. Really hope you guys enjoyed the profile. If there's anything you change, be sure to leave a comment, and I'll see you soon.